Hi everyone, I'm Trish Connor-Cato. Welcome to the Microsoft Outlook 2021 video course. Outlook is the email calendaring application used worldwide. This course is for anyone looking to learn about all the really cool features Outlook has to offer from beginning to end. In the first module, you'll learn how to be more efficient when managing your mailbox, how to modify settings within Outlook, before learning how to attach files and items to emails. We'll end that module by learning how to track, recall, and resend messages. The second module gets into creating folders, categories, and learning how to mark messages for organization purposes. You'll also learn how to add and edit contacts, schedule appointments, events, and meetings, and save notes and create tasks associated with an email. If you're enjoying these videos, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions you want answered by one of our instructors, please join our off-site community. The link is in the description as well. As always, if this course has exercise files, you'll find them in the video description below. As mentioned, the introductory portion of this course has two modules. Module 1 will cover the basics of Outlook, and Module 2 will cover managing Outlook. Let's look at what we're going to cover in this first module. So the basics of Outlook module will help you to navigate Outlook and talk about how we can format our messages with attachments and also track them. We have 4 learning outcomes for this module. At the end of it, you should be more efficient when managing your mailbox. You'll be able to modify settings within Outlook, attach files in an email, and you'll be able to track, recall, and resend messages. Now, we do have files in the video description that we're going to use. There are actually 5 files in the video description, but we're going to use 4 of them during the course. The ones we're going to use in this module, there's a Word document named Outlook 2021 Course Outline, an Excel file named Excel Essentials, and a portable network graphics file named Learn It Logo. You can go ahead and get those files from the video description and put them in the same folder that you can access on your computer. And while you're there, go ahead and grab another file. It's called disney.pst. That's an Outlook data file, and we're going to use that later in the course. We're going to reach those learning outcomes by going over these 4 lessons. So the first lesson is getting started with Outlook. Lesson 2 is all about formatting messages. In Lesson 3, we'll start working with attachments and illustrations. And Lesson 4 will customize message options. Our topics in Lesson 1 are navigating the Outlook interface so you become comfortable working in that environment, working with messages, and how to get help. Let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is have a tour of the Outlook interface so you can get comfortable in its environment. We're going to start at the top of the screen, that blue band. On the left side, you have a quick access toolbar like you see in other Office applications. It can be customized for icons that you use most frequently. You have a search box, and all the way to the right, you have your window control buttons. Underneath that, you have the typical Microsoft ribbon. In Outlook, you have a Home tab on the ribbon. The Home tab is divided into groups like all your ribbon tabs. So you'll see the group names underneath the icons. For example, on the Home tab, there's a New group, there's a Delete group, Respond group, etc. Sometimes during the course, I'll say something like, go to the Home tab of the ribbon, and in the Quick Steps group, do a particular thing. So you'll see how your ribbon tabs are organized by groups. We also have a Send and Receive tab, a Folder tab, a View tab. You may or may not have the Developer tab. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. We're not going to be using it during the course. You have a Help tab, and you may or may not have the Acrobat tab. You would only have that if you have the full Adobe Acrobat program on your system, and then you could have the Acrobat tab on your ribbon. I'm going to go back to the Home tab, and I'll just mention this. I didn't cover the File tab because when you click on File in any Microsoft Office application, it takes you to a view known as Backstage View. So you'll notice the different tabs on the left side in the blue band that we could get to right now. And depending on what we have selected in our mailbox, some other items could become available here. We'll be revisiting Backstage View during this course. To go back to your mailbox, you're going to click the left pointing arrow at the top of the blue band. Now we'll switch our focus to the left side of the screen, and that area is known as the folder pane. Now, for myself, I actually have 3 different email addresses that come into Outlook. The email address that I'm going to be using during this course is the one that is expanded. When you have email addresses in Outlook, by default, they come with a set of folders. So you get an inbox, that's where your incoming mail goes into. You get a drafts folder, and that's if you're in the middle of composing an email and you're unable to finish it at that time, or you want to finish it later. You can save it as a draft and it will be in the drafts folder. Sent items, pretty self-explanatory. Any email I send automatically goes into the sent items folder. Deleted items is explanatory as well. You have an archive folder. You'll learn about archiving a little bit later in the course. Conversation history, junk email, which we'll talk about later as well. An outbox, let's say you're offline, you're not connected to the internet, and you send an email. It will be unable to send it, but it will hold it in the outbox until you have a connection, and then it will attempt to send it again. And you have search folders, which I'll cover a little bit later in the course as well. So those are the default folders that you get underneath any email address that you have in Outlook. You also may or may not have a groups folder. This is typically if you have SharePoint groups or Outlook 365 groups, Microsoft 365 groups, they may show there. On the bottom of the folders pane, you have, in my case, 3 icons and an ellipsis button. So the first icon is an envelope and it's blue. It's highlighted, if you will. That means that you're currently in your inbox. The next one to the right is how you could navigate to your calendar. Then you have one that looks like 2 heads, and that's how you can get to your contacts. Now that area can be customized, which I'll show you next. To customize that navigation panel on the bottom of the folder pane, you can click on the ellipsis to the right, and you can see what it's showing there, right? Or other things that can show there. You can have tasks, notes, folders, and shortcuts show there as well. What we're going to do is we're going to click on navigation options. And it's saying up here the maximum number of visible items. I'm going to change that to 5. And I'm going to uncheck compact navigation. And then you can choose the order that you want things to be displayed in. So just for example, I'm going to click on tasks. And I'm going to use the move up button so it shows before people, which is your contacts list. And then I'm going to click OK at the bottom. So compact navigation is when you're seeing the icons and not the words of the Outlook items. If you want to leave it that way, you can. I'm going to go back to the ellipsis, go back to navigation options, check compact navigation again, and click OK. I prefer to have it that way. Really, it is a personal preference. Whether it's compact or not, it still works in the same way. So if I wanted to go to my calendar, I can hover over the second icon, and it shows what's known as a peek of my monthly calendar for the current month. And any appointments that I may have on it may show there as well. And then if I click on it, it actually opens the calendar. And so I'm going to go back to my mailbox by clicking the envelope icon down there. And if you want to gain more viewing space, you can collapse the folders pane by using the left pointing arrow that's in its upper right hand corner. So when you click that arrow, it collapses the folders pane. You'll see some of your folders there. And notice the icons on the bottom are just in a vertical order as opposed to horizontal. You can expand it by using the now right pointing arrow. And then if you want it to stay expanded, you use the push pin in its upper right hand corner to pin the folder pane. The next section to the right of the folder pane is your actual inbox. And you can expand the width of your inbox if you'd like by using the divider line on its right side. You could also expand the width of your folder pane using the same method if necessary. Now in my inbox, at the top I have focused, and then I have another tab called Other. My inbox is sorted by date in descending order. And so the inbox is also in what's known as a collapse state right now, where I'm not seeing any emails. I'm just seeing today, yesterday, last week, 2 weeks ago. And to expand all of those categories, I can right click on any one of them and choose Expand All Groups. I can also right click on any one of them and choose Collapse All Groups, which is what my default setting was there. I'm going to expand today, and I have one email from today. And when I click on it, the section to the right of the screen, which is your preview section, populates with the contents of the email. So I don't even have to open the email to read it. I can read it in this preview section. Notice at the top on the preview, it tells me who it's from, who it's to. It says if there are any problems with how this message is displayed, I could view it in a web browser. I even have my reply all, forward buttons there. Underneath them is the date and time that the email came into my inbox. And then there's an Other Actions button where I can share it to Teams, I can schedule a meeting, forward as an attachment, or have the message translated. Now, if I wanted to open the message, I could simply double click on it in my inbox, and it opens in its own separate window. And this separate window actually has a little bit of a ribbon interface at the top of it. So I could go to the message tab in here if I wanted to delete it. I have my respond group there, share to Teams, quick steps, and you'll see the other groups that are there. I'm going to use the X in the upper right hand corner to close the email. And to complete our grand tour of the Outlook interface, we're going to focus our attention to the very bottom of the screen. You'll see a gray band going across the entire bottom of the screen. That is known as the status bar. And like in any other Office program, if you right-click in a blank area of the status bar, you can customize it to show all of the things on this list. So all of the things on my list are checked, meaning they'll show there. For example, the items in my view, I have 22 items in this inbox view. And The only thing that I have unchecked is quota information, which I don't necessarily need to see down there. But if I did want to see it, I would just click on it and then it would show down there. So it's letting me know how many gigabytes I have of free space. I'm going to click on it again to turn it off. Now over to the right of the status bar, you'll get some messages. It's letting me know that all folders are up to date and also that I'm connected, in my case, to Microsoft Exchange. I have a couple of view buttons to the right of those messages. The current view button, if I hover over it, it's normal view. The next one is reading view, which collapsed our folders pane. Now I can go back to normal view using its view button, and my folders pane is no longer collapsed. And then I have a zoom slider like the other Office programs. When I'm on an email or in an email, it will become active and I can zoom in and out on that email. Our next topic in this lesson is working with messages. So we're going to create a new email message. If you notice on the Home tab of the ribbon, the first icon is New Email. Go ahead and click it. And an untitled message opens in its own separate window. You'll notice that the ribbon is different in the message window than it is in your main mailbox window. And we'll be using certain options on the ribbon throughout the course. I also want to point out that your insertion point is active in the To field. Your From field is populated with your email address. And you also have a CC and Subject field on the upper half under the ribbon. The lower half, when you click in the lower half, you're in the body of the message, which is where you actually type your message. So I'm going to go back to the To field. And for the sake of this training, I'm going to send this message to myself. I understand that some people viewing this may not have another mailbox available in Outlook that they can send and receive from. So Outlook will allow you to send messages from yourself. If I have to demonstrate other features by using one of my other mailboxes, I will let you know when we get to that point in the course. So for right now, I'm going to start typing in my email address. And it's giving me some suggestions, but I'm going to just keep typing it. And when I get it typed in, I can click on it. Or I could have just clicked in the subject line. I have this in Outlook as a contact. This email address is a contact. And when we get to the contacts portion of the course, you'll learn that you can either display the email address or you can assign a name to the contact, and it can display both. In the subject, I'm going to just type first email in the Outlook 2021 video course. That's the subject, and then I click in the body. Going to just keep it simple here. You can type anything you'd like in the body of your message, or you can copy what I'm typing. And if you notice to the left of your From, To, CC, and Subject areas, you have your Send button. You're going to go ahead and click Send. So when you receive a new email in your inbox, by default, it will be the top email in your inbox. And there are some visual cues that I'd like to point out to you that appear on your screen. First of all, to the right of the inbox in the folder pane, you'll see a blue number that indicates how many unread messages are in your inbox. When we reviewed the status bar earlier, you saw that I had everything displaying except quota information, And one of those things I chose to display was the number of unread messages in my inbox folder. Also, if you look at the new email in your inbox itself, you'll notice a couple of things about it. It has a blue banner on its left side. The subject line is bold and blue, and the time that the email arrived in your inbox is also displaying over on the right side of it. So those are your visual cues that you have unread mail in your inbox. Now I'm going to display some default behaviors. If I click on that new email, as you saw earlier, I could read it over on the right side in the reading pane. Now, if I click on another email, the new email is no longer considered to be unread. If you click on it and then click away from it, it will automatically mark it as read. And in just a few seconds, the number 1, and it just happened, will disappear from the right of your inbox folder. You won't see any unread mail message down in your status bar, and the message doesn't have the blue banner or the bolding or anything like that anymore. So earlier when we were doing our grand tour, I talked about the focus tab, and there's an other tab. So Microsoft determines which emails are most important and will display them on the focus tab. Any other emails will be displayed on the other tab. And later in the course, I'll show you how you can make it not have a focus tab, so just every email is displayed in one section instead of having to go back and forth between the two. And now there's another way that you can start a new email message. Instead of clicking on the new email icon on the home tab of the ribbon, you can do Control and the letter N on your keyboard, the shortcut key, Control N, and it will give you an untitled message window. Now I'm going to address this email to myself again. And because I'm so creative right now, I'm going to go to the subject line, and the subject is going to be second email in the, and I can type, Outlook 2021 video course. Now, I want you to type a sentence and purposely misspell a word. And you'll notice if you were watching my screen while I was typing, as soon as I misspelled typing and pressed my space bar, it gave me the wavy red underline like it does in Word. And then misspell, it actually autocorrect when I typed one S. So all of that happens by default. Now, those same kind of autocorrect and spell check features happen by default. One of the worst things that can happen, in my opinion, is you can send out an email and it's not spell checked. Well, I'll tell you a little secret. By default, it spell checks your email. It'll do spell and grammar checker as soon as you click on send. So I'm going to go ahead and click on send, and my spell check comes up. So you really don't have to worry about it. So I'm going to take my suggestion, the second suggestion for typing, and say change all. And then it went ahead and sent the email. I've marked my second email as read by clicking on it and then clicking away from it. And now I'm on the Help tab of the ribbon. This is the third and final topic in this Getting Started with Outlook lesson. So we're going to talk about how you can get help in Outlook. The first thing you can do on this Help tab is you can click the Help button, which we're going to circle back around to. But there's more. You can contact support. You can give feedback to help improve Office. You can even suggest a feature. You can get to some Microsoft trainings. And there are support tools that can be accessed. And if you're an admin, there's notifications that can happen. There are also some diagnostic tools. We're going to click on the first icon, which is Help. And it opens a panel on the right side of your screen. So it has categories here: Get Started, Customize, so on and so forth. There has a video there showing a feature, right? Use instant search, about searching and filtering email. If I scroll down to the bottom, there's featured help, video training, add an email account, create and add a signature to messages. So you'll get comfortable using this. Or at the very top, there's a search box. So I'm going to click in the search box at the top, and I'm going to type compose email and press enter. So it gives me the results. And at the bottom, there's even a show more link, meaning there's more that's not showing initially. Most of these are what are called articles, and there's some videos that are mixed in as well, if you want to see a video of somebody doing the thing that you're seeking help on. So the very first result, create, send, and reply to an email, is good, right? So notice that's an active link. If I click on it, there's a video that I can look at, but it also gives me the step-by-step of how to do these things. So I have choices here. At the bottom, Microsoft is always collecting information. So at the bottom, it says, was this information helpful? You can say yes or no. Now at the top, if I wanted to get back to the home screen for help, there's the little house to the left of the search box that I can click on, and it takes you back to the home screen. And when I'm done using help, over on its right, I can click the X to close that panel. So now we're on to lesson 2, formatting messages, and we have 3 topics here. Going to learn a little bit more about adding message recipients. We already discussed how spelling and grammar check happen automatically when you press send, but I'm going to revisit some more options for that. And then you're going to learn how to format your message content. So now let's bring up another new email window and go ahead and address it to yourself. And you'll notice after you address it to yourself, and you may have to press your tab key to get this to happen, you'll see that it's followed by a semicolon. In my case, the name of my contact is followed by a semicolon. And the insertion point has advanced, so you have a space after the semicolon. And so it's ready for you to type in another email address. Now, in this case, I'm going to use a different email address here and type it in after the semicolon. Now, that's how you add multiple recipients. You just keep typing the email address, or if you have them in your contacts list, your contact name, and they will show up in the to line. The same would be true for your CC box, and we don't have to do a CC here. So the subject of this email is going to be multiple recipients and message formatting. And you're going to click in the body of the message. Now you can type anything you'd like in the body of the message. Just misspell 1 or 2 words. So feel free to use what I typed in my message or do your own, and you can clearly see my typos. Now I'm kind of OCD. And if I was typing a long message, it would bother me that I have those wavy red underlines on my screen, and I don't want to wait until I click send to correct those spelling errors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on the first wavy red underline, and it brings up like a spell check at the top of the shortcut menu. And it has the correct spelling for the word that I'm looking for before, so I'm going to just select the correct spelling. I'm going to right click on my second misspelled word, and I'm going to select format for that. So I don't have to wait until I click send to get the grammar and spell check functionality and fix any spelling or grammar errors that get flagged in the email. So now I want to select the entire body of the message. I can click and drag to do that, but I love shortcut keys. So anywhere within the body of the message, I'm going to hold down Control and press the letter A. Control A means select all. And then just keeping in theme with shortcut keys. Now I could do this from the basic text group on the message tab of the ribbon, but I'm going to hold down Control and I'm going to type BI, and it bolded and italicized my font. And then I decide, well, I don't really want it bold. I just want it in italics. So I'm going to do Control B and it gets rid of the bolding. But maybe I want my font to be in a different color. So in that basic text group on the message tab of the ribbon, I'm going to do the font color drop down and pick a color of your choice. And now we formatted a little bit of the message content. Now we're ready to go ahead and click send. I'm going to show you another way to mark a message as read. So I haven't clicked on that new multiple recipients message. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to choose mark as read from the shortcut menu. So now I never clicked on that message, just a single click so I could read it in the reading pane. I never looked at the contents of that message. All I can see is the little preview that's here. So if it was much longer, I wouldn't be able to see it, but I'm able to mark it as read by right clicking on it. Let's bring up another new email and you'll see some other formatting choices that you have. Go ahead and address it to yourself. And the subject will be more formatting options. In the body, type a sentence or two. So I typed a couple of sentences. And and if you haven't, you can go ahead above your sentences, type like a heading or something. I just typed formatting options. Now we're going to go to the Format Text tab on the ribbon. And by the way, I didn't mention this before, but whatever you put in the subject line becomes the name of the message. So when you start a new message, it says untitled message, and now it says more formatting options, which is our subject line. So on that Format Text tab, you have a font group, just like you do on the message tab. You have a paragraph group, but you also get the styles group, which are very similar to using styles in Word. So what I'm going to do is I am going to select that first line, formatting options, in my message body. And in the styles group, I'm going to click on heading 1. So you have some stylistic changes, just like you can do in Word. Now there are more styles showing. If you wanted to see all of the styles, to the right of the styles gallery, you have a dimmed out up arrow, a down arrow, and then a down arrow with a line above it. That is known as the More button. If you click the More button, it opens up the entire gallery. So maybe I want to see what heading 2 would look like on formatting options, or title. And I think title's a little bit too big. Could go with subtitle. So pick a style that makes sense to you here for that first heading. And then it gave me that heading in like a blue font. So I'm going to select my other content in that message body, and I'm going to go to the font color drop down in the font group, and I'm going to select a slightly darker blue color. So it just gives the message a little bit more visual interest to use those formatting options. And you can go ahead and send your message. Our third lesson in Module 1 is working with attachments and illustrations. So you're going to learn how to attach files and Outlook items to messages, how to add illustrations to messages, and how to manage automatic message content in this lesson. Before we dive in, I want to point out a discrepancy on my screen and explain why it's that way. So you'll notice all of the emails that we've done for this course are now under my yesterday group in my inbox. And that's because I stopped recording this video last night and resumed recording this evening. So now they're under yesterday. And that explains the discrepancy on my screen. Let's go ahead and open a new email message. And I'm going to address it to myself. And for the subject line, I'm going to type working with an attachment. And then I'm going to do a dash and type via ribbon. I'm going to click in the body and type something like, please review the attached. Now, there are two different ribbon tabs that you can use when you're in a new message window, to attach a file to the message. And one is on the message tab, the default tab that you're already on. In the include group, you have an attach file button. It also gives you the ability to attach an Outlook item or a business card. You can browse your OneDrive locations, or you could browse this PC from that drop down. I'm going to click away from it. I'm going to go to the Insert tab on the ribbon, and the first button is Attach File. So here they just have Browse Web Location and Browse this PC, because they have a separate item, the second one on this ribbon tab, Outlook item, they made that a separate thing. You can also drag and drop files onto an email. So since we're on the Insert tab, let's go to Attach File and choose Browse this PC. And I'm navigating to the folder I created where I put the files from the video description into this one folder on my PC. So the file that we want to attach is a Word document. It's called Outlook 2021 Course Description. You can click on the checkbox in front of it and then choose Insert in the lower right corner, or you can just double click it to insert it. And it shows up underneath your subject line. And notice there's a drop down arrow next to it. Let's say you attach something by accident. You can remove the attachment. You can save it as something else. You can upload it to OneDrive. You can open it, cut, copy, all of these different things. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click Send. You can see that when you receive a file with an attachment, it has that paper clip icon to the right. So that's your visual cue that there is an attachment with that email. Now, what you can do, go ahead and select that email. What can you do with the attachment? Well, you can do the drop down arrow, and you saw this menu before, and you can open it. If it's an attachment that you want to save, I would detach it from my email and save it to my computer. One of the things that uses up the quota in your email are large attachments. So it's a good habit to get into. If it's something that you need to keep, then you can do save as, and you'll be able to browse to a directory on your computer to save it. I'm not going to actually save it because it's already on my computer. And if you don't want to keep it, you can review it by opening it or previewing it and then remove the attachment so it's no longer taking up space in your email. If you have multiple attachments on an email, you can save all of them to your computer at the same time by using Save All, or you might want to upload them to your OneDrive account. So what we're going to do now is open up another new email. We're not going to use the ribbon for this particular email. We're going to use the drag and drop method. So go ahead and address the email to yourself. And the subject line is going to be working with an attachment dash via drag and drop. And I'm going to use the same sentence here. Please review the attached. Now at this point, I'm going to arrange my windows. I'm going to go up in my main Outlook window where my inbox is. I'm going to just minimize that. And I already have the folder open where I have the files from the video description. So I'm going to just arrange these windows side by side. Now I'm working in Windows 11, so I can go up here to the maximize button and choose the right half of the screen. And then on the left half, I can just, oops, I did the wrong thing. The file folder is what I wanted. So there it is. So when the windows are arranged where you can see one or the other, they don't necessarily have to be side by side, you can drag and drop. So the file that we want this time is Excel Essentials, and I'm just dragging it into the body of my email message. And you'll notice that my mouse pointer looks like it has a box attached to it. I'm going to just let go, and it attaches the file. I can maximize my message window again. And then I can go ahead and click Send. So the new emails in my inbox, I'm going to select it. And in the email, when I click on the attachment, you'll notice this time I didn't click on the down arrow. I clicked on the attachment and it shows me a preview of the information if you just click on the attachment. And also when you have the attachment active like we do now, or if you had access to drop down arrow next to it, it changes to the attachments tab on the ribbon where a lot of the stuff that's on the right click menu is there. So you can see that on the attachments ribbon. Notice at the top of the preview, it says back to message. So I'm going to click that and it takes me back to the regular email. And then I'm going to click away from it to mark it as read. So the two that we just did are both marked as read. Now we're going to create another new email to which we're going to attach an Outlook item. An Outlook item, well, hang on a second. I'd rather show you than tell you. So let's get a new email message going and address it to yourself. And this time the subject will be attaching an Outlook item. I'm going to use the same language in the body. Please see attached, or please review attached. And on the message tab in the include group, I'm going to go ahead and click on attach file, hover over attach item. We're not going to do business card because we haven't learned how to produce them yet. That's later in the course. We're going to choose Outlook item. Now, because I have multiple mailboxes, I'm going to switch to the mailbox that I'm using for this course. And you can see that an Outlook item can be anything in any of your Outlook folders. So it could be an email in your inbox, or a draft email if you have any, something from your sent items, or deleted items if it hasn't been emptied, archive items. You can even grab appointments from your calendar and attach them. You can attach contact information, all of these things. We're going to leave it on inbox, and I'm going to just select an email I received from a vendor. And before I do that, look to the right underneath OK and cancel buttons. By default, it will insert an item as an attachment. Your other choice is text only. We're going to leave it on attachment. And you can select any email that you want, even if it's one that you sent to yourself. And then I'm going to go ahead and click OK. So it attached the email like any other attachment, same drop down next to it, and we can go ahead and send. The second part of this lesson, the second topic I should say, is adding illustrations to messages. Go ahead and start a new message window, address it to yourself, and use the subject line, adding illustrations to messages. So once I click in the message body, I'm going to go to the Insert tab on the ribbon. And you'll notice that on the Insert tab, you have an Illustrations group. So illustrations can be anything from pictures to 3D models, shapes, icons, so on and so forth. We're going to start with a picture that we had in a video description file called Learn It Logo. So I'm going to go to the Pictures drop down and choose Insert Picture from this device. We'll review the other two options momentarily. And I've already navigated to the folder I created with the files from the video description. And I'm going to just double click that Learn It logo. Now, after I have it in the body, I'm going to click after it in the body, and I'm going to press Enter twice. Let's go back to Insert, back to Pictures, and this time let's go to Stock Images. Now, notice across the top, and I'm going to move this window down just a little bit so I can see the ribbon behind it. It has icons up here. That's the same as if you click icons on the ribbon. But right now we're looking at images. There are icons. There are cutout people, stickers, illustrations, and cartoon people. Let's go back to images. And each of those have different subcategories. So communication, paper, symbol, so on and so forth, all of these categories. Or you can just click in the search box. Let's click in the search box and type computer and press enter. So you get all of these different images that come up for computer. And one thing I want to point out is in the bottom left corner, it says this is a subset of the Creative Content Library. The full library is available to Microsoft 365 subscribers, other subscribers, and stuff like that. You can learn more about it. In basic terms, it means that you can use most of these pictures without violating copyright. So you can select any image that you'd like just by clicking on it. And then you'll notice the Insert button has the number 1 behind it, meaning you selected one image. And I'm going to go ahead and click Insert. Now the image came into the email really big, right? But if you look at the ribbon, you now have a picture format contextual tab because the picture comes in and it's still selected. So on that tab, all the way over to the right, you'll see the height and the width boxes. Click in the width box and type 5 and press enter. And it adjusted the height accordingly. Now, I don't know if you've worked with images in other Office programs. What I'd like you to do is click in a blank area to the right of the image, and you'll see your insertion point flashing on the bottom right edge of the image. Go ahead and press enter twice. You have to be careful when working with images where you are when you're pressing enter. It could move the image itself down, so I wanted to point that out. And now, just to finish up our pictures, let's modify our subject line. At the end of it, type a dash and type pictures. And then you can click back in your body of the email underneath that stock image. We're going to go back to Insert, Pictures, and this time we're going to choose Online Pictures. So it's powered by Bing Search, right? You'll see all the categories that you have here, or you can search for a picture. It's really hot where I am right now, so I'm going to click on the ice cream category. And so now here, when you go in, you have a filter already set that says Creative Commons only. Again, most of these items are available for your use without violating copyright, but you also have the Learn More Here link at the bottom. So I'm going to just select an ice cream that looks good to me. And actually, yeah, I'll just select one. I won't be greedy here. And I'll click the Insert button. And again, as with the other picture, I'm going to go change the width to 5 and press Enter. And now we can go ahead and click Send. Go ahead and create another new email addressed to yourself. And the subject for this one will be adding illustrations to messages, 3D models. We're going to just do one 3D model here. It's a really cool feature. So I'm in the body and I'm going to go to Insert. In the Illustrations group, I'm going to select the arrow for 3D models and choose Stock 3D Models. You'll see that they are categorized, all right, all these different categories and everything. And you can also search up here. We're going to look for a category called Microsoft Products. And they have laptops, game controllers, all of this stuff. Going to have you select a laptop and then go ahead and click Insert. Now, sometimes it may seem like it's never going to insert the 3D model. Sometimes it gets hung up. So if that happens to you, you want to click away from that window and then back into it. Notice once your 3D model is inserted, you have that 3D model tab on your ribbon. And also, right in the center of the 3D model, there's a symbol. You're going to put your mouse on that symbol, click and hold, and now you can start dragging the model around in a 3D dimension. So you can see the bottom, the top, the back, the left. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a 3D model. Go ahead and send this message. Our last topic in this lesson is managing automatic message content. I'm going to show you 2 ways to do that. So go ahead and bring up a new email, address it to yourself, and the subject will be auto text. Let's say that you have to send the same email out over and over again. I'll use a scenario where you have weekly departmental meetings and you need to send the minutes out to everybody in the department every week, and you use the same boilerplate text. So we're going to type in the body of this email, we're going to type, please review attached minutes. And then we're going to do Control A to select that text. You're going to go to the Insert tab of the ribbon. And over to the right, you'll see the text group. And so these is very similar to the text group in Microsoft Word. And what we're going to select is Quick Parts. Hover over Auto Text, and then click on Save Selection to Auto Text Gallery. So you can name it. It's going to take the first few words of what you type to give it a name. And we're going to say minutes email text. That's what we're going to name it. And we're going to just click OK. You don't have to put a description. We'll leave it in a general category. You could create other categories. It's going into the auto text gallery, which is where you would want it to be. It's being saved in the normal email template. And at the bottom, you have options: insert content only, insert content in its own paragraph or on its own page. In our case, it doesn't matter. It's just one line of text. So we're going to leave it on insert content only and click OK. Now, I'm going to have you close that email. Don't save the changes, and bring up another new email. This time, click right in the body. And you're going to go to the Insert tab. In the text group, you're going to go to Quick Parts, hover over Auto Text, and you'll see your minutes email text. Click it, and it inserts that. So it could very well be that you have paragraphs of text that you insert into a lot of emails, or that you've been typing into a lot of emails. I would use Quick Parts and Auto Text if I have a limited amount of text. And you'll see why in a moment. But in the meantime, go ahead and address this email to yourself with a subject of auto text and send it. We're not going to actually attach anything. So this is a really cool reminder that comes up. We said, please review attached minutes. Outlook saw the word attached and realized we didn't attach a file. So it gives us a reminder. And we could say don't send and then attach a file, or send anyway. This comes in so handy for me. Sometimes, like in this case, we're purposely not going to attach anything, but sometimes I just simply forget the attachment, and I'm so grateful for this reminder. So I never click don't show this message again. That's just my personal preference. I'm going to choose send anyway. So I said that I typically use auto text for short text blocks, right? If it's longer, like paragraphs full of text, then I use the feature that I'm going to introduce you to now, which is message templates. But back in the day, before they had message templates, I would often use auto text for paragraphs of text that I used repeatedly in different messages. So you can use the feature that way. Let's bring up a new email. You know the drill, address it to yourself. And this one's going to be called Message Templates as a subject. If you look at the last button on the Message tab of the ribbon, you have View Templates. Click on that. So by default, it gives you a couple of default templates. I'll reply later, heading to a meeting, I'll get back to you soon, I'm running late, lunch. But you can create your own. So let's create a template by clicking that link. And we'll name it Default Invoice Text. And then in the text box underneath that, you're going to type, please see my attached invoice. It's been a pleasure doing business with you. Period. Enter, enter. Next paragraph. If you want to extend your service agreement, please contact us via the form on our website. And then we'll just leave it like that. No, we'll do enter, enter, and then we'll type thank you. And then save it. So whenever you open a new email message, when you go to view templates, your default invoice template will be at the top of the list. They put them in alphabetical order. So in this case, it'll be at the top of the list. But if you scroll back down to the bottom of the list, you can add more templates. So if you're in a situation where you send many emails and they have the same message over time, you can just save that message as a template. Notice if you hover over the default invoice, you can delete it or you can edit it if you see something that needs to be changed. What we're going to do is we're going to just click on it and see how it inserts it into the body of the email. And go ahead and click send. It's going to say, again, you may have forgotten, we're going to send it anyway. Our last lesson in this module is customizing message options. We'll learn how to customize reading options, how to track messages, and how to recall and resend messages. I'm going to go ahead and select my message templates email. And we're going to get into customizing your reading options. So let's go to the View tab on the ribbon. And first thing I want to say about the View tab is when we did the overview of the interface here, we talked about how we have a focused inbox where Outlook determines which messages are important and then all other messages go to other. If you don't want to see your focused inbox, you can, on the View tab, just click on Show Focused Inbox, and then it gives you an all category and then an unread category. And so that's just a personal choice you can make. Now, the other thing I want to go to is over on the right, you have a layout group. And in the layout group, you'll see your reading pane drop down. Reading pane drop down. So by default, the reading pane shows on the right. Some people like to have it on the bottom of the screen. I prefer it on the right. Your only other choice there is to turn it off. And so you no longer have a reading pane. I'm going to go back to reading pane and choose write again. And if you go back to reading pane one more time and you go to options at the bottom, and you'll see some of these options a little bit later in the course, right? But this is why when we've been selecting an item, reading it in the reading pane, and then clicking on another email, it marks the item as read. So mark item as read when selection changes is what's causing that behavior. We can just cancel out of there. And we also discussed how my inbox groups are automatically collapsed. I'm going to show you how you can make that happen in your inbox as well. So also on the View tab, you're going to click on the second button in the current view group, View Settings. In View Settings, you're going to click on Group By on the left. And then in the bottom right, you'll see where it says Expand Collapse Defaults. Mine are all collapsed, right? Yours is probably on As Last Viewed. So if you want it to always be all collapsed or all expanded, you can change it here. And if you have multiple mailboxes in here, you have to do that setting for each mailbox because it's in the current view group. I'm going to expand my today and my yesterday groups in my inbox. And so in what you can do here, if you look at the preview, you're only seeing 2 lines in your preview. On the View tab, in the Arrangement group, you'll see Message Preview. You might want the Message Preview to be off or 1 line, or I'm going to change mine to 3 lines. And when I go to make a change, it asks me if I want to do it just in this folder and on all mailboxes. I'm going to choose this folder. So now when I expand, if there are 3 lines in the 3 or more lines in the email, I can at least see 3 of them, just a little bit more. Now, there may be times when you will want to track a message. You can track a message for two things: to see whether it has been received and or whether it has been read. So let's bring up a new email window. Now, I'm going to address this to a different email address of mine. The delivery receipt, if you address it to yourself, you will get the delivery receipt, but you may or may not get the read receipt. So if you have another email address to use it. If not, address it to yourself and you'll see on my screen what happens. And this one's going to be a subject of tracking messages. And I'm going to type, I am going to track this message for delivery and reading options. And now I'm going to go to the Options tab on the Tracking Messages ribbon. And on the Options tab, you have a tracking group. And right there, you can check the two boxes: request a delivery receipt, request a read receipt. Before we send this message, let me tell you what those options do. The delivery receipt is usually the first one you will receive back in your inbox. It just means that the email has been delivered to the recipient's inbox. And actually, I forgot to use a different email, so I'll change this here. So you'll get an email back saying that the delivery was successful. Well, and this again, some companies require both of these to be used. I very rarely use a delivery receipt, and this is why. If I send you an email and for some reason it doesn't get to you, I automatically get a system administrator email back letting me know that delivery was unsuccessful for the following recipients. So delivery receipt just says it hits the person's inbox. The read receipt means they read the email. Technically speaking, that's not always what it responds to. Remember, if I click on this email, even if I don't read it in the reading pane, and then I click on a different email, it marks that as read. As soon as it's marked as read is when the system will send you the read receipt. So keep that in mind. Go ahead and send this email. Now, I'm going to switch to my other email account that is the recipient, and I'm going to double click that email just to open it, close it. Now it's marked as read, right? And so I'm going to go back to my training inbox that I've been using. And I got my delivered message, and I should be getting the read receipt soon. So it just says your message has been delivered, and then it'll say your message has been read by the following recipients when it comes in. So that's how you can track messages. If you want to track messages all the time, like every message that you send, you can set those options globally, so you don't have to do it on a message by message basis. And then it will happen for every message automatically. And you'll learn how to do that later in this course. For right now, you're going to learn how to recall and then resend messages. Let's go ahead and do a new message window. I'm going to use another email address for this one as well for the recall portion. So I'm going to put in another email, and then the subject line will be recalling messages. Now, there is a caveat to this feature. I can only recall a message that hasn't been read by the recipient. So be careful with this. You may not always be able to recall your messages. If you are successful, then the actual message disappears from the recipient's inbox like it was never there. So we're going to type a message, just a short couple of sentences here, and then I'll give you a scenario that has happened to me in the past. So I'm going to type, you requested that I give you the data for the first quarter, and here it is, colon. Then I'll enter twice. And I'll type, I'm just making up names, Evans, and I'll just do a dash and say that he's $10,132, like sales money. Then I press enter. And then my phone rings and I get involved on the call and I have to go over to a different application. And for some reason, I click send on this message that I have not completed. So go ahead and click send. Now, as long as the recipient doesn't read it, right? So I'll go in my other mailbox that I sent it to. And I'm not going to click on that message at all. If I do and then I click somewhere else, it marks it as read and I won't be able to recall it. So what I need to do in order to recall a message is I need to go to my sent items folder from the account that I sent the message from, expand it, and open the message that I sent, the recalling messages message. I'm opening it from sent items. Then I'm going to go to the file tab of that message and you'll see resend or recall right there. We're going to click on resend or recall. We're going to choose recall this message. And so some recipients may have already read this message. That's just standard. It doesn't mean that they have. Message recall can delete or replace copies of this message in recipient inboxes if they have not yet read this message. Are you sure you want to delete unread copies of this message? And that's the setting we want. And then the check mark by default, tell me if recall succeeds or fails for each recipient. We're going to leave that checked. Go ahead and click OK. It lets you know at the top of the sent item that you tried to recall this message and it gives you the date and the time. We're going to close that sent item. And I'm going to go to my inbox. And I get my message recall success message. And it lets me know. So if I had sent that message to 10 recipients and 5 of them read the message, I would get 5 that it was a success and 5 emails that it failed. That's kind of how that works. Now, the other thing you can do is resend a message. So let's go ahead and do another new email. I'm going to address it to my other email account. And the subject is simply going to be resend. And I'm going to just type, and this scenario would be like, I start the message and then I realize that I forgot to put a key thing in it or something like that. I don't necessarily want to recall it. I just want to resend it after updating it. So I'm going to just type, Trish, here is the info you requested. And I'll put something like Olive Garden Thursday. Press enter and click send. And just like recalling, you're going to go to your sent items. You're going to open up the message with the subject resend. Go to the file tab. You're going to click on resend or recall. And it says for resend, send a message again with the option to update content or change recipients. So I bring it up and it lets me update the content and or change the recipients. So Olive Garden Thursday, and then underneath that I'm going to type meeting with Jason at 12:30 p.m. And then I'm going to go ahead and click send. I'm going to close my original sent item. So now we're ready for Module 2 in this introductory portion of Outlook, and we'll be drilling down into managing Outlook. This module will introduce the tools that help organize your messages, manage your contacts, and schedule meetings appointments on your calendar. The learning outcomes here will be that you can create folders, categories, and mark messages. You can add and edit contacts. You'll have the ability to schedule appointments, events, or meetings, and you'll be able to save notes and create tasks associated with an email. We have 4 lessons in this module. The first lesson will be about organizing messages. In lesson 6, we'll start dealing with contacts. Lesson 7, we'll start working with the calendar. And the final lesson will work with tasks and notes. In the first lesson, organizing messages, you'll learn how to mark and categorize messages, and also how to organize messages using folders. Just like everything else in Outlook, there are multiple ways that you can mark messages. Let's start by doing it from our inbox. So I'm going to hover over the message templates message, and on the right hand side above the time, you'll see a flag. Now, what I'm going to have you do, instead of just clicking on the flag, right click on the flag. If you just click on the flag, it would flag the message or mark it for today. Meaning you want to follow up on it in some way, and you want to follow up on this day. You can see the other time frames. You can put no date on it, or you can choose a custom date that's not on the list. So these are how you can flag or mark your messages. We're going to go ahead and choose tomorrow for that one. And so visually, you'll see that the flag, and they're color coded, but you'll see the flag on the message indicating that it has been marked. Another way to mark a message is, let's go to the attaching an Outlook item message and just select it. And then on the home tab of the ribbon, in the tags group, you can go to follow up, and it's the same as using the flag in the inbox. And this one will say next week. Now, there's a secondary thing that happens when you mark your messages, and you'll see that a little bit later in this module. Marking messages is one way that you can organize your messages. Categorizing them is another way. So let's select the messages. Well, we're going to select the message adding illustrations to messages. You can just click on that to select it, and hold down your Shift key and click on the one underneath it, adding illustrations to messages pictures. So we have both of those 3D models and picture messages selected. Now, on the home tab of the ribbon, in the same tags group where we went to follow up, you're going to click on categorize. So they have 6 categories, and they're just called whatever their color is. So blue category, green category, whatever. And we're going to select blue category. And we can change the name of it, because this is the first time you're using it. You can change the name here. And we're going to call this illustrations. We'll leave the color blue. We're not going to give it a shortcut key. We're just going to click on yes. So if you notice, the one that's the 3D model message is the one that's being displayed in the reading pane. Underneath the subject, it shows the category. And you can sort your inbox, which you'll learn how to do later. You can sort by category, you can sort by marking messages, all kinds of things. So another way of organizing your inbox. So we use the Shift key to select two adjacent messages. If I click on any other message, it will deselect them. Let's say you wanted to select the first message, meaning the top one in your inbox, and the third one. If you click on the top one, you can hold down your control key and click on the third one. And you can hold down control and click on the fifth, any random messages that you would want to select. I just thought I would mention that. Just click on any message to deselect them. Another way you can organize your messages is by using folders. So we're going to create a folder underneath our inbox. So in effect, a subfolder. We'll actually create two. So the way to do that is by right-clicking on your inbox in your folder pane and choose New Folder. And just to name it, we're going to just call it Manager. And then we're going to click away from it. We're going to go back and right-click on the inbox again and choose New Folder again. And this one we'll call Training and press Enter. So we'll organize them underneath the inbox, slightly indented in alphabetical order. And if you do the collapse arrow in front of the inbox, you'll just see your inbox and not the folders that are underneath it. And you can expand it by using the right arrow. So we're going to just manually move a couple of our messages, a couple of our emails to those folders. We'll select the first two messages. And you're going to click on hold on either one of them and drag them on top of the Manager folder. And now if you go to your Manager folder and you expand Today, you'll see those two messages. We're going to go back to our inbox, expand Today, and we'll just leave one of these messages or three of these messages in our inbox. So we're going to select the first message. We're going to select, using our control key, both of the categorized messages as well as the other flagged message. We're going to click and hold on any of those selected and drag them into the training folder. Now later on in the course, you'll learn how to make stuff like that happen automatically. Like if an email comes in from training, it will automatically go into the training folder. Stuff like that. So that's later in the course. So we created those folders, right? Now this is what I'd like us to do. Let's bring up a new email and go ahead and address it to yourself. And you're going to use the subject search folders. We'll just type search folders are a very useful tool for organizing messages. And you're going to go ahead and click send. Now when that message comes into your inbox, don't select it. We want to leave it unread. We're going to do one more new email addressed to yourself with the subject search folders to. For this one, I'm going to type please review attachment, and I'm going to go ahead and attach that Word document that we brought in from the video description. Go ahead and send it, and again, don't click on it so it will remain unread. So in addition to the folders we created underneath our inbox, there is an Outlook feature known as search folders, and they really pull it all together. So imagine this scenario. We did 2 subfolders underneath our inbox, imagine you had 25 subfolders. And I've already mentioned that later on in the course, you'll learn how to get emails as soon as they come in to go to a particular folder when you learn how to create rules. But right now you can drag and drop them as you saw. So search folders, if you had 25 folders and all of them were getting emails automatically sent into them every day, each folder would have the number behind it or next to it with the number of unread messages. It doesn't seem really efficient for you to have to go from folder to folder to be able to access those messages. That's one use of search folders that we're going to get into now. So after all of your folders, you'll see search folders in your folder pane, and you're going to right click on search folders and you're going to choose new search folder. So they have search folders categorized. There's ones that are categorized as reading mail, so unread mail, mail flagged for follow-up, mail either unread or flagged for follow-up, and important mail. So we're going to leave it on unread mail, but let's look at what else is on this list. You have mail from and to specific people, mail from specific people, mail sent directly to you, meaning you're not like a CC or a BCC, mail sent to public groups. Organizing mail, you have categorized mail, large mail, and you get to determine the size of the large mail. If you click on large mail for a moment, it defaults to 100 kilobytes, but on the right side, you can choose and you can change the size that you want it to be greater than. We're going to cancel out of there. Old mail, and you can show the time period. Older than 1 week is the default. Mail with attachments, mail with specific words, and then you also have the ability to create a custom search folder. I'm going to go all the way back up to the top, click on unread mail, and click OK. Now notice you're in the unread mail search folder and it has the number 2 to the right. Well, we have 2 unread items. If we go click on our inbox and expand today, we have 2 unread items in our inbox. So it's almost like a mirror image. They're separate items. So this is what happens. If I go back to my unread mail search folder, expand the inbox, it's telling me where these items reside. They reside in my inbox. I'm going to click on the bottom one, then the top one, then the bottom one to mark them both red. My unread mail no longer has a number behind it. And if I go to my inbox and expand today, both of those items are marked as red. So I have one location to go to for all of my unread mail, and that would include the subfolders under the inbox. So let's do this. Let's do another new email, address it to yourself, and the subject will be manager. And I'm going to just type, this goes in the manager folder, and send it, and don't mark it as read. And then you're going to do another new email to yourself with the subject of training, and this goes in the training folder. So I have my 2 emails. This goes in the manager folder, so I'd like you to drag and drop it into your manager folder and drag and drop the other one into your training folder. And so you'll see the unread markers next to each folder, and you now have 2 unread mail items in your search folder. And we're going to add another search folder. The unread mail one and the one we're getting ready to add are ones that I highly recommend. So right click on search folders again, new search folder. And we're going to go down under organizing mail and choose mail with attachments and click OK. So I mentioned earlier when we started working with attachments that those, large attachments or emails with attachments, they tend to eat up space in your mailbox quota. And once you hit your quota, you'll start receiving emails saying you're nearing your quota. And if you do nothing about it, you will be unable to get new mail in your inbox. And so if you're not detaching the attachments as you receive them, having this with attachments search folder is a handy way to find all of the emails with attachments, regardless of what folder they actually reside in, so you can detach or remove those attachments. Go ahead and send yourself an email with an attachment, and you will see that it will show up in your inbox as well as in the with attachments search folder. So you can see I have the email in my inbox as well as in the with attachments folder. And it's letting me know that I have one unread one with attachments in my inbox. I also have some read ones in my sent items and training folders. Pretty cool. I'm not going to go back to the slideshow for lesson 6. Its title is Managing Your Contacts, and it only has one topic, which is create and edit contacts. And that's what we're going to get into now. So I just expanded the width of my folder pane a little bit so I could see all 5 icons at the bottom. And my people icon, looks like 2 heads, is in the 4th position. I'm going to go ahead and click it. And when I click it, on the left side, it shows my default mailbox, and then it shows the mailbox that I'm using for training, which has no contact lists in it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a contact. So the first button when you're in this view, your people view, you have your new group, you have new contact, new group, new contact group, and new items. We're going to just click on new contact. And you can put yourself in as a contact if you have like another email address, or you can make up a contact name. I'm going to go ahead and say that my contact's name is Charles Connor. I can put in a company name here. Job title. Now where it says file as, the default is last name, comma first name. If you do the drop down, you can see other ways that it can be filed. Now put in an email. And then you get to display as. When you click in there, it's going to want to put the email. I'm going to just change it to Charles. And that's why you've been seeing Trish and you've been seeing training instead of the email address, because of the display as field. I could put a web page address. I'm going to put www.google.com and tab away from that. Now notice on the right, it's building like a business card, right? I'm going to go down to the business numbers, and I'm going to just put 333-333-3333. You could capture other numbers, as you can see. And you can put in a business address, and I'm going to just put 147 West 147th Street. And I'll just do New York 10047. Don't know if it's a real address, right? Notice the check mark. This is the mailing address. Now, in a little while, I'll show you how to use the Map It feature. I don't know if this is a real address, but I have a real address that we're going to use in a little while. If I had a photo for this contact, I could just click on the Add Contact Photo. and I don't have one, right? I'll just put in, it went to my pictures, but I'll just use the PowerPoint logo, or a logo I developed in PowerPoint, something like that. And then in the upper left corner of the contact window, you're going to save and close. So now we're going to add 2 more contacts, and we're going to use an Outlook feature, an efficiency feature, where you can add multiple contacts from the same company. So let's go back to our new group and choose new contact again. And we'll name this person John Smith. And the company, we're going to put Empire State Building. Job title, we'll say he's head engineer. I'm just making this up, except for Empire State Building and the address. His email is going to be johns@empirestate.com. And I don't think that's a real email address. We want to display him as John Smith. I like to display by first name, last name, or department names, things of that nature. And we'll just give them a web address of www.empirestate.com. Not sure if it's real. John gets a make-believe phone number. It's going to be all 7s. And the business address is going to be real. I'm going to make sure that box is checked that this is the mailing address as well. So it's going to be 350 5th Avenue, New York, New York 10118. And at this point, if you click on Map It, go ahead and click on Map It. It opens up a browser window with the Microsoft Bing map page. You can zoom in and zoom out, things to do in the area nearby, things of that nature. And you can go ahead and close that browser window. And we're going to click Save and Close. Now we want to make sure in our list that John Smith is selected. I don't mean to open him. I just want him to be selected. And this time in the new group, we're going to go to the new items drop down and choose contact from the same company. And so it brings over the company name, the file as, the web address, the business number, and the address. So we just got to create another person. And this person is going to be Richard Johnson. His job title is Engineer 1. Email richardj@empirestate.com. Display as, I'm going to make it Richard Johnson. And we're going to leave the same phone and address and just save and close. So if you're entering multiple contacts from the same company, you enter the first one, make sure it is selected. And then you would go to new items like we did and choose contact from the same company. Now, while we're sitting here, we have 3 contacts. And right now our current view is people view. Click on the next view, business card. The next one is just card. Then you have a phone view and a list view. Yeah. I kind of like people view for the most part. Just my personal preference. And let's say that we're looking at our list and we realize that we have the email address for Charles Connor wrong. To edit a contact, you can simply double click it. And we're going to go to the email address, and it's actually the number 1 Charlie gmail.com. And you can just make your change and go back to save and close. Now you also have when you're in the contact, you have delete. You can save this one and create a new one. And you can do the drop down there and choose contact from the same company, so you don't have to keep opening new contact windows. You can forward it. You can send it to OneNote. You can email the contact. You can request a meeting with the contact. There's more there. If you have your phone on your computer set up, you can call the contact, all of that stuff. You can see the business card. You can go add a picture from here, and you can also categorize contacts and flag them or mark them just like we did messages. You can also make it a private contact. Now, updating will update this contact with details from your organization's contact address book. So organization-wide, you have an address book, but you also have your own individual contacts. And then you can zoom. And you have your regular insert, format, text, review tabs up there. So you can do spell checks and all of that stuff for your contacts. I'm going to go back to the contact tab and save and close. And you can see the updated email address right in the list. You'll learn how to import and export contacts in the advanced modules in this course. Right now, we're going to switch to lesson 7, which is working with the calendar, where we will view the calendar, create appointments, schedule meetings, and you'll also learn the print options for the calendar. So we're going to get started by viewing the calendar. And on the bottom of your folder pane on the left side, you can click the second icon in my case, which is the calendar. Note a few things. Take a look at the home tab of the ribbon. When you're in calendar view, you get new appointment, new meeting, new items. If you are connected with Teams, you can go into Teams from here, meet now, or schedule a new Teams meeting from in here. You have a go-to section where you can go to today or see the next 7 days. And then it's the view that you're looking at. Mine is set to go into work week view, but you have day view, week view, which includes your Saturday and Sunday, month view, and also schedule view. I'm going to go back to work week view. You have a manage calendar section here on the ribbon. You can email your calendar. You can share your calendar. You can do calendar permissions, and you'll learn how to give permissions later in this course. You can also get to your address book from that home tab. On the left side, you'll see a mini calendar for the current and the next month. And then underneath that, you have any calendars that you may have access to under calendars, and then shared calendars, other calendars, and all of that stuff. So I'm on my calendar that's corresponding with the email address that I'm using for training. And you can see, and later on when we go into some Outlook settings, I'll show you how to do this. I have 2 time zones on my calendar. You probably only have one, and it doesn't even really have a label. So you'll learn how to do that later in the course. But right now, I'm going to show you 2 ways of creating appointments. So just like when we were in our inbox, and we did Control N, we got a new email message. When you're in your calendar view, if you do Control and the letter N, you will get a new appointment window. So notice it's untitled, just like we would get an untitled message, right? We can give it a title, the start and end date and times. You can show the time zone if you want. If you don't want to see the time zones, it can be unchecked over here. You can make it an event by making it an all-day thing. You can make appointments recurring. Let's call this one Water Office Plants. It's really more of like a task, but we want it on our calendar. And so we're going to just put the location as office. And we'll change the date to like 2 days from today, or to next business day after 2 days from today, whatever your today is. And I'm going to set it for 9 a.m. And it should take me a half hour. I'll leave it like that. And I'm going to save and close. And so it shows up on my calendar. Now, I decide I should really do that every Friday. So I'm going to double click that appointment on my calendar. And I'm going to select the Make Recurring link. And it's going to recur weekly under the recurrence pattern on Fridays. And I'll just give it no end date down in the bottom right and click OK. And now I'm going to save and close. So now if you look at our little mini calendars on the left, you'll notice that every Friday going forward is bold. If I click on August 12th on the calendar, or a different Friday from whichever week you're in, you'll see the item on the calendar. Go back to today. So let's go back to our inbox for a moment. I'm going to show you another way of making an appointment. So I'm going to just switch back to the inbox. And let's bring up a new email and send it to yourself and put on it "Request for Meeting" as the subject line. And I'm going to just type, "Hey Trish, can we get together next Wednesday at 4 to discuss proposal?" And I'll just sign it Marge. I don't know who Marge is, but she works in this situation. Go ahead and send the message. So what you're going to learn here is a new efficiency tip. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to right click on our calendar icon at the bottom of the folders pane. You're going to right click on it and you're going to choose Open in New Window. So now you have your inbox in one window, your calendar in the other. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my inbox window and I'm going to show it on the left side of my screen, and then my calendar on the right. So I have them side by side. And on my calendar, I'm going to navigate using the mini calendar to the next Wednesday. And I'm going to click and hold on that request for meeting email in my inbox. And I'm going to drag it onto my calendar, or I'm going to attempt to drag it onto my calendar at the Wednesday 4 p.m. mark. And it opens up. It gives me the title, which is the subject of the email. It gives me a default half hour starting at 4:30. I'm going to make that an hour. And it has the body of the email, including the from, sent, the header stuff in this. So imagine somebody sends you an email and they're like, "Hey, can we get together next Wednesday at 4 and discuss these topics?" You can go ahead and drag and drop that email into the request for meeting. Now, this comes up as an appointment. And so you're going to learn how to schedule a meeting in just a second. But we'll leave this as an appointment. Go ahead and do save and close. And then what I'm going to do is just maximize my calendar window. So now that we're in our calendar, I want to navigate to like 2 weeks from now on a Friday, whenever your now is. And we're going to schedule a meeting now. Now, we could go up to the ribbon and click on New Meeting, but I'm going to show you another way of doing it, a way that I always do it. So on that Friday at the 10 a.m. appointment line, I'm going to double click, and it brings up an untitled appointment. Now, the only difference in Outlook between an appointment and a meeting is a meeting you invite people to. So I can go up to the appointment tab on the untitled appointment ribbon and click on invite attendees. And now it's an untitled meeting. It's the only difference. And so the title of this meeting is going to be Final Review of Proposal. And I'm going to make required to attend. I'm going to use my other email address there. So you can have multiple required people, and you can have multiple optional attendees. I'm going to set the meeting to be from 10 to 11. And the location, I'm going to just put in conference room A. Now, you might have a list of locations for your organization, or you can just type them in. Now, in the body of the meeting, I could go up to the insert menu and I could attach files or Outlook items, just like you do with emails. It even has the ability of accessing your auto text entries from there. On the meeting tab, you can get to your templates, view and manage templates, right? So you can have meeting style templates that you develop. So similar to what you can kind of do with, regular emails in that regard. We're going to just click on send. So the meeting automatically shows up on our calendar. Now, my inbox is still open, so I'm going to switch back over to my inbox. And I'm going to access my other email account's inbox. So the person that you're inviting to a meeting will get an email saying who it's from and what the subject of the meeting is. And when they click on it, it says, please respond. It shows like it would show on their calendar. Now, this is what happens. If they decline the meeting, it would not be on their calendar. They can accept the meeting. They can say they're tentatively accepting it, and it would appear on their calendar. When they go to accept the meeting, they could send a response back to the meeting organizer, or they could just say send a response now, meaning they'll get an email saying that you accept it, but no other text. So I'm going to do send the response now. And that email disappeared from my inbox, the person who received the invitation. But if I switch back over to my calendar, I'll show you this. So this is my calendar. I'll do it this way. This is the calendar from where I sent the invitation. And this is the calendar for my other account. And they're overlaid so I can separate them. You can see them side by side. So now, because the person accepted, it's on their calendar. And it's always on the organizer's calendar. So that's kind of how that works. We'll deal with multiple calendars later in the course. So we've worked with appointments and meetings, and now we're going to work with events. An event is an all-day thing. So let's navigate to September 15th. And you can just double click anywhere on the calendar on any timeline. And the difference between an appointment and an event is this checkbox right here that says all day. So when you check that, now it says untitled event. We're going to call it Staff Appreciation Day. Our mythical company is having a full day of activities for the staff that they appreciate so much. And we're going to put in Land Park. And it's an all-day event. We're not going to make it recurring or anything. We're not going to insert anything in it. We're going to just save and close. So notice it shows up at the top of your calendar. An all-day event does not show up on any particular time frame. It's at the top of your calendar. And our final topic in this lesson is how to print your calendar. So a couple of ways you can do it. I usually use the shortcut key, but if you have the print icon up here on your quick access toolbar, you can print that way. You could go to the File tab and choose Print, or you can do Control and the letter P, which is the shortcut key for Print Preview and Print in all the Office applications. So, a couple of things I like to say. On the left side, you have different styles. This is the weekly agenda style that shows up by default. You can click on daily style to see what that looks like. Weekly calendar style, monthly style, which is what I normally print when I print. You also have a tri-fold style, so if you wanted to fold it up, and calendar details style, in which case you could tell it to start a new page each day or week or month. You can tell it to print any attached files. We're going to cancel out of that. Let's do monthly style. And let's say we want to print the calendar for just August and September. So it's on the calendar, it's on the month that I did Staff Appreciation Day on. So we're going to go to Print Options underneath the name of your printer. And down at the bottom, we can do a print range. So I'm going to do the drop down next to Start, and I'm going to navigate, and I'm going to just say August 1st. The drop down next to End, and I'm going to select September 30th. And then on the bottom, I can click on Preview. And now you're seeing August, and your next page navigation down at the bottom of your screen, you can see September. And then you would just simply click on your print button. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the back arrow. I'm not going to print that out, but you saw the different views that you can print in and how you can change the range. And the final lesson in this introductory Outlook course is working with tasks and notes. After this lesson, we'll go into the advanced Outlook modules. So we have two topics here, creating tasks, and that's going to be from an email, and creating notes. So let's go ahead and close our calendar, and our inbox should still be open. I meant to say I was going to maximize my inbox. Let's do another new email to yourself, and it'll just be please do as the subject. Please take care of Josie's package, Nate's proposal, and send it. So we get the email, and that's like giving us a to-do list. It's giving us tasks to do. And I don't want to forget it. I don't want it to just be in my inbox, get lost in the shuffle. So I want to create a task from that email. And the way to do it is click and hold on the email, click and hold on it, and you're going to drag it down on top of your clipboard with the check mark, which is your task list. Drag it down there and drop it. So it gives you a new task with the subject line, please do, right? It doesn't give me a start date, but I'm going to say, okay, I know she wants this done by the following Monday, so I'm going to do the start date and the end date are going to be the same, right? And I'm going to just choose Save and Close. And now we're going to go down and open our task list at the bottom of our folders pane. And there's a couple of things I want you to see. Under my tasks, it's going to have a to-do list, and then it's going to have any tasks for any mailboxes that you have in here. And so the to-do list, when we were marking messages, I said you'll see another way that they show up. And they show up, any messages you mark show up in the to-do list. And they're categorized by today, or so there's the message templates message, next week, right? Please do, attaching an Outlook item. And my time has changed again. I'm after midnight again. So that's where your items show up when you mark them, or when you make them a task by dragging them down to your task icon, like we did with the please do email. Now your task list, I'm going to go to my task list for training, right? So that task that we added shows up on the to-do list because we dragged it. Now when I go to the task list, if I do control and the letter N, it brings up an untitled task. Now, with a task, you can assign the task to someone else if you have permissions to do so. You can make it recurring. You can categorize, flag it, all of those things, make it of high importance. Now, we didn't do these on emails, but you can make an email high importance. It will show up with an exclamation point in the inbox, or low importance. And so for the subject line for this task is going to be make sure printer has proposal by Tuesday. And I'm going to assign it a start date on the following Tuesday. Now I can come back in and track when I started. I can say that it's in progress, completed, waiting on someone else, or deferred, right? Most people don't come in and track. The priority is normal. It could be low or high as well. Some people come in and track along the way, percent complete. Some companies require that kind of tracking. It just depends on what you need to know. You can set a reminder for the task, right? If I check that box, it'll tell me when it will remind me. And it will remind me at 8 a.m. if I want it to. I'm going to say remind me at 10. And I am the owner of this task. So right up here, it lets me know that the task is due in 5 days. I'm going to go ahead and save and close it. So now it shows on my actual task list. Give yourself another task. I'm going to set up another task, and I'm going to assign it to another email address. So I'm going to do Control N again. And I'm going to say assigning this to Trish. And then I'm going to go up and click Assign Task. So it gives me a to box, right? And I'm going to populate that with my other email address. And I'm going to give it a start date of the nearest Friday. And now at the bottom, I can keep an updated copy of this task on my task list. And I can also get a status report when the task is complete. I'm going to leave both of those checked. And I'm going to say create cover for proposal. And I'm going to send it. So since I left it checked to keep a updated copy of this on my task list, it shows up on my task list as well. If Trish goes and does work on it and updates the status or the percent complete or something like that, it will update on my task list as well. You can also see on the left that I have a new entry on my Trish email address for tasks. And when I go there, I see the task. So as Trish, I can open it, right? It's telling me it's not started and all of that. I get to accept or decline it. I'm going to accept it. So it now belongs to Trish. I think she might have, yeah. I'm going to mark it complete as well. It seems like I'm out of sync. So Trish did it. I go back here and it's also marked complete. Yeah, that kind of got out of sync a little bit, but you get the general idea there. So that's how you can work with your task list. And remember, your flagged items will show up on the to-do list. So now we move on to creating notes. The notes feature in Outlook is just like using sticky notes. So down at the bottom of my folder pane, I'm going to go to what looks like a sticky note and click on it. And it brings me to the notes window. I'm going to click on notes for my training account. And you notice you have icon here. You have the icon in the views notes list. We'll look at views when we get a couple of notes in. We're going to go ahead and click on new note, right? And it opens up a note window. So in that window, it's just like a big sticky note. Remember to turn off monitors. Something like that. And then I can just close it in the upper right hand corner. Now the other thing I can do with a sticky note, and I just arranged my screen, I can actually drag it and drop it onto my desktop. So if I want it more visible to me, I can do it that way. Now if I were to close Outlook, the sticky note will disappear off of my desktop. Maximize this again. So you can also look at this, the new items. You can do a new email message from in here. I mean, all kinds of stuff. It's all kind of connected. Let's do another new note. And you can type whatever you want. And you can just close it. You can right click on any note. You can copy it. You can print it. You can forward it. You can categorize notes, right? And you can delete them. So there's something else I wanted to show you in here. Now that we use tasks and now that we use notes, let's go back to our inbox. And we're going to go back to the View tab. And on the View tab, in the Layout group, so we've already talked about the folder pane, right, on the left, and you can minimize it from here or turn it off from here. We talked about the Reading pane. We have not talked about the To-Do bar. So click on the To-Do bar in the Layout group and click on Calendar. Click it again. Click on People. Click it again and click on Tasks. So you can have this other panel on the right side of your screen known as the To-Do bar. It gives you a mini calendar of the current month. It shows you upcoming appointments that are on your calendar. If you make any of your contacts favorites, right? So you can right click a person anywhere in Office to add them to your favorites. So you can make a contact a favorite. Your favorite contacts will show here. And we'll revisit that later in the course. And then you have your to-do list. Basically, your flagged items, right, are showing up at the bottom. So that's because when we went to the to-do bar, we selected all three things: calendar, people, and tasks. By way of review, we've covered two modules in this introductory portion of the Outlook video course. Module 1 was the basics of Outlook, and in Module 2, we covered managing Outlook. In Module 1, we focused on you becoming comfortable in the Outlook environment by learning how to navigate in it. You learned about how you can format your messages. also how to add attachments and track messages. Specifically, the learning outcomes here were, when we finish this module, you should be more efficient when managing your mailbox. You can modify some settings within Outlook. You can attach files in an email and other Outlook items, and you're able to track, recall, and resend messages. When we got to the second module, we focused on managing Outlook, and you were introduced to the tools that help you organize your messages, manage your contacts, and schedule meetings, appointments on your calendar. So the learning outcomes for this module were that at the end of it, you'd be able to create folders, categories, and mark messages. You can add and edit contacts. You have the ability to schedule appointments, events, or meetings, and you're able to save notes and create tasks associated with an email, and also create tasks from the task list.